Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today?
Good.
How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. They'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Let's see what we've got to deal with. Today is the 12th of December. We have two signs in our moon sign that we're dealing with today. We're making the transition. We're going from Aries. And 2:40 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when that transition goes from Aries into Taurus. Taurus is an earth sign. So the first part of the day, for a couple hours, we're going to be dealing with fire and fire just like yesterday. And then later into the day, we're going to get to fire and earth. Fire being the sun sign, earth being the moon sign. Taurus, the bull, is about practicality. Remember, it's about how to practically bring that energy down into earth. Taurus, the bull, teaches us the lesson of listening to that inner teacher. We spoke about the inner teacher the other day. Taurus is wanting us to listen to that inner teacher. Okay, so that is one of the ideas, and as we listen to the inner teacher, life becomes good, harmonious, and balanced because we're listening to the inner guidance that we should be listening to guide us along. Later on this afternoon, evening, we have a trine, positive aspect of energy between Jupiter here and Saturn. So Jupiter's expansion, Saturn is discipline. So discipline and expansion meet, but in a harmonious way. Okay? Later today. Moon phase, 80%, making its way on up there to the full moon. We'll be there next week. Mayan Oracle, we're at a 4-tone day, which on the wave spell of the sun puts us here at the symbol of the night, or the kin of the night, N-I-G-H-T, which is about dreams, abundance, unconscious. Guide for today is the storm, which is a gathering of energy, self-generation of energy, catalyzation. Bring it all together, it builds up, and then you're going to use that for something, hopefully something positive. So today we have the self-existing night, guided by the storm. Like-minded energy is the warrior. Challenge for today is the skywalker, and the hidden power is the mirror. Warrior is intelligence, so that's our like-minded energy, asking questions. Exploration, that's our challenge for today. And then the mirror, which is the hidden power, is our ability to understand the reflection of life, how everything reflects back at us from something else. Over at Spaceweather, solar wind is at 305 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index is in the ones. Our coronal hole has really expanded more than it was even yesterday. Pretty good sized hole there, shooting wind out into the cosmos. Where it hits, well, we'll find out at that time. M-class flare possibility has gone up a bit. Now it's 40%. X-class is now up to 5%. Geomagnetic storm activity at this point is still low. So, nothing really going on at the moment. And let's jump over to our suspicious observers report for today. Here we go.
Good morning, folks. Starting today with the line between small stars and brown dwarfs. Starwater students will recognize that their exoplanet habitability views surrounding brown dwarfs are perhaps narrow, and they describe how brown dwarfs cool into macro dark matter, which jives not with the electric universe theories or logic. The dark energy and dark matter they talk about these days is the result of them missing over 90% of the universe in their equations, so they literally made up the filler. Anyway, bit of a concern in orbit as a cooling pump was shut down on the ISS. It's not their only one, but they'll focus on fixes for that vital vessel component for certain. Cool little map out of NOAA today, showing average white Christmas likelihoods. Easy enough to understand, and we'll see what this year brings. First, we're hopping back a month to November for the official State of the Climate report. Always takes a week or two into the next month for release. Had some extreme events at various locations in the U.S. We're going to quickly take a look at some of the maps they have available. These reports are outstanding for piecing together monthly pictures of climate events. They always have their metrics broken down nationally, regionally, and by state, along with looking at 1 month, seasonal, and yearly totals for precipitation and temperature. We're going to focus on temperature at the regional level for November. Good mix there. As I go back to season, half-year and year deviations, you can see we've bounced back and forth across the baseline a bit. Anyway, kicking it to the measurement mission, where I must admit that my flash, flood, and landslide worries for these areas have not gone away. Same locations, day after day under the gun. You can see the next convergence lines about to crest onto Europe, bringing the next set. Yesterday I remarked how cold Eastern Europe must be, but it's not just them. That cold shift south all the way to the Promised Land. Significant cold and snow event is ongoing. As we know, the southern hemisphere lows drive clockwise with a leading east convergence swinging up towards the equator. You can see the cloud pop-ups where Antarctic chill smashes into equatorial moisture. The line has produced severe hailstorms, and the central cell has hit New Zealand today. One last look at Madi before the cyclone hits the Indian coastline here. West Coast weather will be dictated again today by the encroaching low. Solar wind density, speed, and plasma temperature are dropping, and at low stable levels. The conditions are calm as the KP index confirms. We have some flare signatures that we'll come back to momentarily, but as per the usual, ASSA and NOAA do not agree on sunspot class, and they only do it once a day, which is often not enough to capture significant morphology. That's why we classify them on our own. Looking to the southern incomers, technically these get gamma class because we have beta polarity umbral groups that cannot be segregated by a continuous line. But I wouldn't expect large flaring unless we get a delta development at the backside. Up north, the umbral cores are huge, but there is absolutely no complexity. These are all negative umbras and not dangerous as of now. So what about the flares you did see? They appeared to be post-filament release flaring rather than causative flaring from sunspot instability. Take a point away from the sunspots and hand it to the Earth-directed CMEs. It's early, but with Earth off to the left here on stereo A, we do have a good chance of getting glancing blows or up to maybe a moderate magnetic storm. As for the quakes, every day that I'm ready to raise the watch score over 7, the power either drops off or the fields shift around, like here. We're also missing 16 hours of yesterday's fields, and no, didn't raise the watch score last night either. Let's get shots of our star to close, including the iris rasters. Eyes open, no fear. Here at 6:45 a.m. Eastern Time, and that's the news. Be safe, everyone.
Alright, moving right along. So we're going to jump over to ISON 4 News. This is the latest edition, just so we can kind of keep up with what's going on and his research, because he's been following it for quite some time. Here we go. Thor News.
This is a Thor News presentation. Thor News presents Comet C2012 S1 ISON and WTF
Professional science.
Seriously, bro, is thrifty. Part 50. It sure is nifty at how shifty is in being thrifty. Comet ISON is alive. Comet ISON is dead. Comet ISON is alive. Comet ISON is undead. What is the deal, man? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's been about a week since my last update on Comet C2012 S1 ISON. Things got so weird.
So don't rush to conclusions until all the facts are in.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I kind of painted myself into a corner with this video. See, my plan was to wait after perihelion to kind of get a good idea of what is going on. And whereas some people have put out an ISON video a day, sometimes 2 a day since then, I like to be right. So I've been waiting on the sidelines. And well, this story that keeps getting weirder is still weird. By all intents and purposes, it does look like ISON has mainly dissipated, dissolved, broken up, And from the cameras, it looks like it is pretty high, and that I don't think its debris field will reach us, but who knows? And since this ISON story has been filled with surprises, I would not be surprised if we get at least one more surprise before the story is over. Now remember, this story does not officially end until January 12th to the 14th. As NASA informed us a long time ago, we will be going through ISON's original debris field when it passed the first time, right on our orbital plane. So hopefully we will get a good meteor shower from that. So it'll still give us a chance to find somebody we love or like a lot, lay in a field, some beer and an acoustic guitar, and watch the meteor shower. But this whole thing has been bizarre. So who knows, man? Bruce Gary's going on to say that Comet ISON is the dud of the century. And then he's implied that it might be in a different place, or it has become so spread out, you can't tell anymore. And I can't tell anymore. So I'm just kind of waiting. There's a shitload of stories out there. So I'm going to let the chips fall where they may. I'm going to put this video out, and then I'll get right on to episode 51, because there's still a lot of stories to cover. Okay, great. Thanks. God bless everybody. Man, this has been one wild ride.
The sun shot solar flares at Comet ISON. Bam, 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 like it was a video game. And the sun was trying to knock it down. I guess maybe eventually it did. We'll have to see though, because this story continues until January 12th to the 14th, when Earth crosses through ISON's debris field. Which brings us back to this.
Stay cool, be calm. So, if the data we have been shown has been real at all, this has been one wild and crazy adventure. ISON, Linear, Enki, Lovejoy, Nevsky. We got a lot of giant dirty snowballs. I don't know, man. Do you have time? Take 60 seconds to look at this comet. Celestial Angel Night ISON that flew to the sun, flew around the sun, grew into the shape of a giant spaceship. As it hit its higher gear, like, hell yeah, we're flying now, and then vanished. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Everything you ever wanted in an action-adventure film has been here since the get-go. And technically, this story does not end until January 17th, as far as I can recollect. But a lot of the information I have is dependent upon information I've gotten from others, amateurs and professionals. So it's best to do your own research. Alright, so after 50 episodes, I'm still sticking with the theory that comets are omens, that things are about to get weirder one way or another. You can have things get really weird, really good. You can have things get really weird, really bad. So, this whole adventure's been good and bad. And on a personal level, whereas consumers, we are all supposed to delude ourselves at all times. This to me has felt like my own personal American James Bondian action adventure, unrequited romance. Right, so in film or in the basic human drama, you got 3 acts, beginning, the middle, the end. And Act 3 began at perihelion, and it ends about January 17th. So don't rush to conclusions until all the facts are in. But don't listen to me. I mean, the day leading up to the peak of the mountain, which is perihelion, and the day after, and really up to today, have just been fascinating to me, amazing, jaw-dropping, and I'm gobstopped. Plus, these really are dangerous times to disagree with any form of government, bank, or corporation. ISON's perihelion adventure was by far the most exciting astronomical event that has happened in at least 14 years. Outside of, personal experiences of seeing a shooting star in person yourself, because that moment always makes you feel like a little kid again. And just, wow, awesome! I saw a shooting star! And it's always super cool when it happens. It's, whoa! I forgot about the heavens, and all of a sudden, it reminded me how magnificent they could be. So, if you think at any moment since this story has started, at the beginning of January, since they announced it as the comet of the century and turned every single camera they had on it, this story has only gotten more exciting year, adventurous year. Awesome. I mean, scary, creepy, weird, and totally seriously, bro. Like, seriously, bro.
Am I my brother's keeper? Seriously, bro. Am I my brother's keeper? Seriously, bro. Am I my brother's keeper? Seriously, bro. Am I my brother's keeper? Seriously, bro. You know, like when cameras to the exact spot ISON wasn't. You know, like when Nifty declared dead, shot out the other side of the sun about a third of the size of the sun, looking like a giant spaceship. And then it just evaporated. Almost. Asterisk. There's still something there. I guess nobody should be that worried because now it only looks as big as Mercury. Like it's not as big as Earth anymore, so that's good, right? Comet ISON compared to Earth. And I think the initial estimates were wrong. But I mean, what does it matter? Like, when ISON got broke up into a bunch of shotgun pellets, they say that the shotgun pellets are going to stay on the exact same path that ISON was going to be on, which sounds damn near impossible. And if everything in the comet stayed with the comet at the exact speed the comet was traveling at the time that it was traveling, and there's no altercation, how does dust get left behind? I mean, wasn't that dust traveling with the comet at one time at like 300,000 miles an hour? So in theory, shouldn't that dust stay with it the entire time? But we know that comets leave trails of debris and dust behind them, so the theory of everything that makes up the comet stays with the comet cannot be true. But hey, man, we're talking about professional science here. Just has to sound good, and you have to get people to believe it. It doesn't necessarily have to make sense or be correct. Yes, dirty snowball that the sun paid no attention to. Somebody double their budget so we can get twice as much of the good stuff they've been giving us lately. How's that sound? Part 50. Well, I'm glad you're all still here. Happy post-Thanksgiving. Happy pre-Christmas. Pre-Hanukkah. Pre-Kwanzaa. All Saints Day. And all holidays. Every day is a holy day, really. Every day is a holy day, in my opinion. And then out again, so don't rush to conclusions until all the facts are in. Hee-hee. But don't listen to me. I mean, stay cool, be calm. ISON, Linear, Enki, Lovejoy, Nevsky. We got a lot of giant dirty snowballs. I don't know, it's just best to start at the start, I think. Not study, but appreciate and have a relationship with them. They miss you. The moon misses you. The sun misses you. Venus. Mars, Jupiter, they're always watching. The heavens, outer space, the universe. Whatever you want to call it. Technically and inherently, I think it's cooler than... Cooler's probably not the right word, but it's probably best to dedicate like 100%. Stay cool, be calm. It sure is shifty. It how.
Alright, very good. There you go. That is Thor News in the way that only Thor News can present Thor News. Alright, very good information. You followed him along for many of his journeys along for ISON. As he says, and as you've heard, we'll see what happens out there. UFO News is up next. Here we go.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
Alright, Dirk. Thank you very much. Today I have 5 stories. Let's get to them. Story number 1. This is a pink glowing UFO over Miami, Florida. This was just a couple days ago on the 10th. There's our object in question. Object first seen 4:20 p.m. low in the horizon with azimuth 23 degree and 20 degree elevation, tracked at 448, first moving east and later west. 2 cameras were used. That's different cameras here. And this is what was seen. It's a 2-minute and 30-second video, 2:33. Again, good descriptions of the cameras. You can see what they were. And then, there, of course, there's the object in question. See it right here. Moving along. Alright, and of course, without the filter, you certainly see the pinkish color that we talked about in the title of this video. Alright, moving along from here. Next, we go from Florida to Fukushima. This is a video of a UFO over Fukushima. This is from the 7th last week. This is over Tomura, Fukushima, Japan. Again, a 2-minute video. Okay. Come on over here. Get to it. There we go. There's an object in question. Saw it fly by there. Go again. Okay, and here's the same thing through a filter. Alright, so definitely something there. What is it? Not quite certain, but it was captured. Different interesting ways it looks in different filters. Okay, let's move on from there to our next one. This is Valkyrie. NASA's Robonaut is only just getting its legs, literally, but it's already had some fresh and arguably superior competition. The agency's Johnson Space Center has given IEEE Spectrum a sneak peek at Valkyrie, a DARPA robotics challenge entry built to take on dangerous tasks that would normally require a human presence. In addition to sporting more joints than many of its typical two-leg rivals, the sometimes autonomous machine is chock full of cameras, LIDAR, and sonar that help it move quickly around and can operate under planetary gravity loads that Robonaut can't touch, and even experienced users can keep it running through modern digital design that lets astronauts swap out batteries and replacement limbs within minutes. Valkyrie isn't guaranteed to enter service, as it will win the support of DARPA and NASA officials before it progresses much further. If it passes muster, however, it could be vital to NASA's long-term plans for Mars. Robotests of Valkyrie are likely to prepare any future Martian landing site to assist humans once they arrive. Okay, look at this. I'll let you listen to a little bit of it.
3-degree freedom pelvis, and we have a 6-degree freedom leg. When we were designing the robot, we were thinking about the competition from day one, and we wanted a very modular system. Specifically with the arm, we can yank one bolt and one connector, and we can take the arm off. It happens in a matter of minutes. And so we wanted to be able to replace components, major components on the robot in under 15 minutes. The robot is designed also such that the arms are actually identical. So with just reconfiguring a piece on the arm, a right arm can suddenly turn into a left arm. Power is stored in the backpack here. We have a battery. You can pop this panel off. You can do a couple bolts, slide the battery out, and slide a new battery in. So as you can see in the head, we've got cameras, both LiDAR, point cloud based camera systems. In the chest, we've got cameras. We have sonar in the chest, in the stomach, abdominal area. We have cameras on our forearms for when we're.
Alright, pretty fascinating, huh? You can watch the whole video to see everything that's there included with this robot, but it just may be that this robot walks around in other places, and this is what ET is going to see out there. They'll probably know it's a difference, though. They'll probably realize that they're smarter than some of the humans that are running around here, so that'll be a dead giveaway. Alright, this is a video here. It's about 10 mysterious UFO cases of all time. Okay, this is a nice little compilation piece here. It's 7 minutes in length. But as you go through and scan through, you'll find a variety of different cases, some of which you've heard of, some which may be new to you. Starts off with this sighting in Turkey. Remember this one here? This was 2007, 2009. And this is where we saw what apparently looks like two grays. There you are, sitting. There they are, sitting in the front. Seem pretty good. Alright, and we're going to go to the next one here. This is the JAL UFO over Alaska in '86. Okay, Japanese crew flew over Jumbo, witnessed 3 UFOs flying over. Alright, let's jam along here to the next one. This was 8. This was the event that happened in Rendlesham Forest for this story. Go to number 7 here. This is the Valentech UFO mystery, one that happened in Australia. Alright, let's continue on. And of course, this was the 6th one. And if you just keep on moving down, it goes all the way down. There's several more, but I'm going to leave the video for you to watch. Check it out, because it's much better if you don't have to skip through all of them. But it goes all the way to the Roswell one, and some good sightings right there. Alright, the very last piece here, the UFO report for today. This is the OLMECS and the BASALT disk. During the excavations of the ancient Olmec capital of San Lorenzo, Tenochtitlan City, archaeologists found a basalt disc with 2 carved prints resembling eagle's claws, as well as a damaged sculpture of a jaguar with an open mouth and crossed front paws. These artifacts could belong to some notable resident in the Mexican state. In the Mexican state of Veracruz, on the territory of an archaeological OLMECS ceremonial center of San Lorenzo, Tenochtitlan. 2 pieces of art created about 3,000 years ago and related to the mysterious Olmec culture were found. The discovery made near the Palacio Rojo, which is Red Luxury Palace, a home of the rulers of the first capital of Olmec. Currently, 25% of the area of the complex has been evacuated. In the pre-Hispanic period on the territory of the modern state of Veracruz, there were 4 Indian cultures. Huastec and Otami lived in the north, and Totonac in the northern and central part of the state. The OLMECS, the representatives of one of the oldest cultures in Americas, dominated the southern part of today's Veracruz. Representatives of this people inhabited the coastal plain areas of today's states of Veracruz and Tabasco sometime between 1,000 and 300 years ago. Archaeologists have discovered several Olmec centers near Veracruz, including San Lorenzo and Tres Zapatos. The settlements were probably the most complex ceremony centers through Mesoamerica during its prime. For this reason, many anthropologists consider the Olmec culture to be the mother of the many subsequent Mid-American cultures. San Lorenzo Tenochtitlan is the ancient capital of the Olmec, whose construction was commenced around 1800 BC, and the peak of prosperity of the city took place about 1000 to 1400 BC. There's a lot to the article talking about. It goes on to say, according to the newspaper El Universal Veracruz, archaeologists found a basalt disc with a diameter of 61 centimeters and 2 carved prints resembling eagle claws, as well as a damaged sculpture weighing over 300 kilograms and depicting a jaguar with an open mouth and its front paws crossed, one of them damaged. Presumably the artifacts found could belong to a notable resident. During the excavation of the territory of the Red Palace, archaeologists uncovered incomplete or damaged sculptures made of basalt in homes and warehouses. Since this ornamental material was delivered from remote areas and was highly valued, the OLMECS did not discard damaged products but used them to create new works of art. Alright, and that would be our UFO news for today. Stay tuned, I'll be back with more.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People shouldn't be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw a UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
little while ago, you heard the comment about Thor News made about the criticism that or the result people are getting from criticizing this government. And you're not just hearing it from him; you're hearing it from lots of sources, over and over and over again. It's like this administration has extremely thin skin. Anything that goes and speaks about them, boy, they just don't like that. And a lot of people have ended up dead during the course of this regime, of this dictator that's in power. I'm going to have to call it that because that's really what's going on. Okay, you've got congresspersons saying that this man is operating unchecked. What I have to say, it's really sad the United States of America has come to this point in time where somebody like him, who is being called a terrorist through other governments around the world, how he could slip through the cracks and be the president of this country, do all the damage that he's doing. All the evidence that has been collected by conspiracy researchers is available to show that this man is completely fraudulent, yet mainstream news continues to report him as being an absolute saint in some degrees and continue to push his policies, which only lends us to believe that they are in on the problem. They're in on all of what is taking place, basically complicit in the activities. I know the media doesn't necessarily want to lump themselves into that and say they are complicit in the activities, but yes, you are. You're all lying for him. And yes, I know at this point in time, Republicans think that Fox News is now being honest, but guess what? Fox News was terribly dishonest during the time when George Bush was in office, terribly dishonest during the time discussing what happened with 9/11. So if anyone is completely believing that they've changed their colors, guess again. They simply are doing what they always do, picking on the guys that are opposite of them, in this case, the Democrats. Democrat man in office, so they're going to continue to pick on him as they would always do. But if it was a Republican that was in office, George Bush doing these things, you can bet just like they covered for him in 9/11, they would be covering for him now. So it doesn't really matter who's in power, which office, which party. It's all the same. Both parties are actually one party, just faking you out that there are multiple parties. Here's a story about health director approved Obama birth certificate. She died in a plane crash. Huh. Surprise, surprise. The health director who approved the release of President Obama's birth certificate has died in a plane crash, Hawaiian officials said on Thursday. Loretta Fuddy died in a Cessna Grand Caravan aircraft she was traveling went down shortly after leaving Kailua Airport. Around 3:15 local time on Wednesday. The 8 other people on board were rescued. Richard Sherman, president of Mackinac Air, told NBC Thursday that there was no indication on why the plane had crashed. Freddie hit the airlines 2 years ago when she approved the waiver request allowing Obama to access certain copies of his birth certificate signed by the delivery doctor, Obama's mother, and the local registrar. His mother, then 18, signed her name, Stanley and Durham Obama. The so-called birthers opposed to Obama, including real estate mogul Donald Trump, had long questioned why Obama hadn't ensured the long form was released. Hawaiian Senator Will Espero paid tribute to the 65-year-old on his Facebook page. It is with great sadness to hear of the passing of the Department of Health Director Loretta Fuddy, he wrote. She was a respected professional who served our state with pride and distinction. Rest in peace with the Angel Director Fuddy. After being alerted to the crash, U.S. Coast Guard scrambled 2 helicopters and a Hercules plane to the site, which was about a mile from shore. Rescue swimmers were already deployed, and they winched 3 passengers into the helicopters. A radio operator on the rescue plane posted the picture of the rescue on Instagram. Okay, here's what we've got going on there. Okay, so more to the story. You can read through it yourself, but unfortunate, another person who caught up in the entanglement that is Obama, well, now ends up dead. Sad, 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 but that's what we've come to in this country. You know, if you're out there, you're another country in the world, I know you're probably laughing at the United States of America. You're probably laughing at the policies we have and probably laughing at how our leaders behave. Just look at what happened at the funeral, the ceremony there for Mandela. Okay, it was just a joke, regardless of what anybody thinks of Mandela, his roots, his backgrounds, what have you. Nonetheless, we all certainly know that when you go to a ceremony, there's a certain way that a person should behave. The president of our country wasn't behaving in a respectful manner at all. Neither were the other two that he was with. That's not how you should behave. Yet, that's how he's behaving, and he's the one representing our country. Again, he doesn't represent me, because I don't usually make a point of having a jackass go out there and represent me anywhere in life. I do that good enough on my own. And this man, horrible. I know he doesn't represent most Americans. The only thing he represents is himself. And again, I'm going to stand by what I say, that this man is an antichrist or the antichrist, but he's definitely surrounded with that energy and continues to show each and every day how much of an antichrist he actually is. Now, this piece is called The Psychological Profile of President Obama. In the midst of the series I am writing, in which I am detailing the existence of governmental plans to brutally subjugate the people, it dawned on me that a president can have all of the draconian legislation behind him that he needs to carry out a brutal agenda against his people or a segment of his population without having the psychological makeup to do so. This article examines whether Obama has a psychological makeup to carry out such an agenda. Let's find out. Obama will be president for another 3 years, bearing bad health and impeachment followed by a successful conviction. Therefore, it is prudent to ask a very important question. Does President Obama have the psychological makeup to carry out the heinous agenda against a large segment of the American people? Most Americans will initially scoff at the notion that this president could be judged to be psychologically impaired. What makes America so sure that all the leaders could take on the traits of a Stalin, Pol Pot, Mao, and Hitler? People should remember that many from Hitler's party were democratically elected and that Germany had a constitution prior to the Nazi takeover. Dictators invariably emerge on the scene at a time of great conflict. State-sponsored genocides frequently follow coups. Civil wars can become part of a national landscape and a declared martial law. Economic crises often provide a backdrop from which rounds of dissidents are conducted, families are separated, undesirables are executed, and genocide can take place. Often a particular segment of society is ostracized and used as a scapegoat in order to provide a point of unification for the people in crisis in classic divide-and-conquer strategy. Further leaders of a brutal martial law movement grant themselves legal immunity from prosecution by making their heinous actions legal before they occur. Many of these preconditions are evident in a modern-day America. The American economy is in worse shape than any time in our history, as it were a near free fall in which the interest payments on the debt exceed our revenues as a nation. Obama, as well as members of his administration, have engaged in the divide-and-conquer strategy of race-baiting. Obama's incessant fanning of the flames of the Trayvon Martin case is an excellent example of a president who is dividing a nation instead of helping to heal it. Obama does nothing but polarize the nation along the lines of gay rights, forcing the issue of abortion and contraception upon a unwilling public through Obamacare, promoting the rights of illegal aliens over that of citizens, promoting black versus white division, Muslim versus Christian, poor versus rich, Christian versus non-Christian. America has no shortage of potential sparks for division in this country thanks to the president's ineffective and suspect leadership. Finally, through the NDAA and Executive Order 13603, this president has given himself the authority to do anything he deems necessary at this time of choosing. Well, this is right here, narcissistic personality disorder. Yeah, we know that he's a narcissist. We know he certainly is. This man is, well, read the article. It's just out there. I'm not the only one thinking that this guy is not what he claims to be. There are certainly others. Shouldn't be the president of a country, but he's here at the right point in time in this country in America, because we're here at a point in time when many Americans have so proudly stated, not in my country. So to see that in the very country, the very same people who have claimed it not in their country have been fooled, it's kind of silly. It's not really funny, but unfortunately that's where we are. Alright, we're going to change gears over here. Let's take a look at the other presidents. Okay, Obama is just a current in a long line of jackasses. Here we have Deathbed Confessions. Photo support claims that George H. Scherf, Jr. was the 41st President of the United States. Say what? According to Otto Skorensky, pictured in the Scherf family photo and a few friends, holding Mother Scherf's hand at left is Martin Bormann. In front is Richard Gellin. In back is Joseph Mengele, and to his right is Sikorsky as a younger man. At center right, in the German Navy uniform, is George H. Scherf, Jr., and his father, George H. Scherf. Senior, Bormann became Hitler's second-in-command. Richard Geinat was a chief SS officer and assassin who was smuggled out of Germany under Operation Paperclip. Skorensky was Hitler's bodyguard and SS spy assassin who came to the U.S. after the war to Project Paperclip. Skorensky and G.H.W. Bush were instrumental in merging Nazi intelligence with the OSI to form the CIA with Wild Bill Donovan and Allen Dulles. These guys were also part of the CIA mind control experiments such as MKUltra. SS officer and physician Joseph Mengele, the notoriously sadistic angel of death of Auschwitz, escaped Germany to South America after the war. George H. Scherf, Jr. became the 41st President of the United States as George H.W. Bush, and George H. Scherf, Sr. was Nikola Tesla's trusted assistant. Okay, so let's look in this picture where they say that these photo pictures here at center in the right in the German Navy uniform is George H. Scherf, Jr. Okay, this is right here. And his father, George H. Scherf, Sr. So this is the one that they're saying went on to become George Bush Sr. What you're about to read about is another step beyond research pioneered in the early 90s by author-historian Wesley Tarpley, based largely on deathbed clues provided by former Hitler bodyguard Otto Skorensky in his box of photographs. Since Skorensky's death in 1999, the various leads he provided have been followed up and tend to support what at first blush would appear to be the unbelievable rantings of an embittered old man. What remains constant as we pour through publicly available records, private correspondence, memoirs, newspaper articles, photos, and other clues is that the Bush family records, the ones that exist, are a puzzle piece of inconsistencies and curiosities. Since it is a congressionally established fact that Prescott Bush was in business with the Nazis during World War II, we can safely say that the Bush-Nazi connection existed. What are the Bushes? How did they get connected with the Nazis? Is the connection still alive through the U.S. Presidents George H.W. Bush and George W. Bush? The answers are not as literal as we would like them to be, but we have the testimony of Otto Skorensky and his photos, especially the one at the right. So here we go, the first installment of an investigation that points to a curious conclusion. The Bush family was created to destroy America. Alright, that's a big accusation, but you know what? I am not a fan of the Bush family. I'm not a fan of their work and the evil doings that they had done. So yeah, I think that there's something to this. You should check out this article and see where it goes. Alright, I'm going to jump to another piece here. This is called Is the Beast About to Rise? This is a piece from BP Earthwatch. You normally hear him talking about ISON, the other commentary thing, objects that are in the sky. However, he does speak about other topics as well. This is very important here. Listen to some of this. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but a part of it, because this applies to what has recently happened in the world. Let's see what you think about this.
December 11th, 2013. Guys, everyone saw the Nelson Mandela funeral. It was broadcast worldwide. Remember, it was daytime there and it was raining. Here it was nighttime. We're on the other side of the earth. And I listened to it on BBC Radio, and it was, you could hear it, you couldn't see it. But sometimes it gives you a perspective into the meaning of the words or the tone of the voice. And I immediately came, as soon as I heard it, guys, I came in, I had to open my Bible and read this chapter. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. Now, pause this and read it, and I'm going to link you to this free software, guys, but this struck home too deep. I've studied the Bible for years and years, just like I study other things, guys, but it leads back to 13 in Revelation, and Paul Begley and them were talking about this today on the show, and I'm going to be on there tomorrow, and we're going to, I think it's from 11 to 2 p.m. Central Time. But they talked about this, and it's very important. And it's, again, it's shaking. This is not normal activity that we're seeing. But in 13, it says, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns. The 10 crowns are these 10 kings, guys, waiting for their power. They have been loyal to their master. And I saw one of his heads as wounded to death, and this deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after this beast. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto this beast. Guys, you realize what you saw, this, how everyone was praising Nelson Mandela. Not saying anything negative about this man at all. That's not my point. This is goes into the supernatural. I want you to read this. This talks about the beast rising. And he has power to war with the saints, and he's power over all the kindreds, the tongues, and every nation. They were all there. Now, Paul Begley on his show today, when they had their callers, they were talking about they were going to bury Nelson Mandela with a leopard skin over the coffin. That's one of the signs of the beast. Also, you need to check that program out, and I'll get him to talk about it on tomorrow's program, about some of the other things that are symbolic in this funeral. But guys, in the 13:18, it says, here's the wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Now, I did a video a long time ago, and I'm going to link to it about this, but this tells about a guy named Alistair Livingston, and he was deciphering some of these old texts and these tablets, and they're talking about Anu and Enlil and Enki that go on, and they're later talked about in the Greek and some of the other languages, but this is the oldest tablets on earth, and this is the one time they were able to trace a person with a number. And Adad was 666. The Anunnaki was 600. Anu, remember, he was the top leader, and then 6 was Adad, and Adad was the god of weather. Are you listening? Hurricanes, storms, thunder, and rain. Now, I'm a Christian and I believe in Jesus, but Jesus didn't want people that were just going to wave left and right with the wind. You blow left or you blow right. You're not steady. If you're founded in the rock, then you can walk in any valley. Go out and study and learn, knowing Christ is your Savior, but understand that there are parts of history that are very important. These are clay tablets older than any other written form on earth. But this tells the story of what's going on. Now, guys, we don't know. Are we about to see a rising of a beast with a deadly wound? Now, I've told you about going into the book of Enoch, and it will tie Revelation 13 and 17 even deeper, and they're talking about supernatural possession. Now, Mandela, just bear with me. No one knows. I understand that. Please, but listen to what I'm telling you. Coming from my heart and my gut on this feeling. Something like this is very close to happening.
All right, I'm going to leave the video to you next. Like the rest, there's about a minute and a half. I want to continue on, but yeah, something's going on. Possession is the next part that's in line, that's been talked about. I believe Obama's that guy. I believe he is the one who is most primed, that has such power around the world and given to him. Remember, in the United States of America, there are 10 FEMA zones. Each one of these FEMA zones has someone who is put over that, a governor, not a state governor, but one of the governors of the zones. These 10 FEMA zones are just waiting to be activated by the president. Is this the 10? I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell, but there certainly is a lot going on that us to certainly consider these things. All right, here is a story. It says ancient city is discovered underwater. What they found could change history forever. Okay, so you can see here one of the statues that was found right there. The city of Herculeon was engulfed underwater 1500 years ago. This grand city had been mentioned by the Greek writer Herodotus, the 5th century BC historian. He had told the wonderful tale of Helen of Troy, who traveled to Herculaneum, then a part of great wealth, and her Trojan lover Paris. While French marine archaeologist Frank Godillot stumbled upon some relics, it led them to one of the greatest finds in the 21st century, a city underwater. The discovery took place when Godillot had been in the search of Napoleon's warships from the 1798 battle on the Nile, when he had been defeated by the Nelson in these very waters. But to his surprise, he stumbled upon this magnificent discovery. And you can see the various statues that they're finding. Pretty cool. A lot of things very intact. It's pretty amazing what they found. Alright. There's another one. Alright, so very cool finding out there. I'm sure we'll hear more about it as the excavation continues to finish itself up. Alright, so this next piece here is a very practical piece. It's called How Negative Energy Affects Your Life and How to Clear It. You know that like attracts like, right? So here's the deal. Positive people are drawn to positive energy. Negative people are drawn to negative energy. We tend to perceive negative energy as something other. Let's open this up a little bit more. I don't know what's going on. All kind of challenges, problems, what have you. There we go. Slow loading pages. There we go. Alright. Some people have negative. Something other people have. Sure, sometimes we feel negative, as in go away and leave me alone world. But did you know that negativity can be so ingrained that it can go unnoticed? That's because negativity sometimes wears a disguise called reality. It's easy to rationalize that you're just being realistic and not daring to act and dream and believe it. You may assume that positive people are not being realistic, that they're being naive, that they are in denial with their heads stuck in the sand, and that they put on fake smiles in the face of difficulty and so forth. But are they really happy idiots, or is there something to positivity? Consider this. Since when does being realistic necessarily mean things go wrong, and that you have to accept them as truth? That doesn't mean being realistic is automatically negative. When you view the world from a realistic standpoint, you can't help but be negative if your version of reality is negative. If your version of reality is negative, you're conditioned to believe that whatever can go wrong will go wrong, and whatever can go right will probably go wrong too. Your unconsciously held belief will make you into a negative person without you being aware of it. So, here's a little list of here. Do you complain a lot? Do you blame? Do you feel like a victim? All these different things. And then it gets down here. You clear your energy by taking ownership of it, taking responsibility for it. You cancel out these thoughts with positive ones. You use love, and that's very helpful. What we do with our meditations are very much a part of it, working to clear this energy out. Now this next story here kind of ties in with it. It says the extended mind and consciousness. We have been brought up to believe that the mind is located inside the head, but there are good reasons for thinking that this view is too limited. Recent experimental results show that people can influence others at a distance by just looking at them, even if they look at them behind, and all sensory clues are eliminated. And most people's intentions can be detected by animals from miles away. The most common kind of non-local mental interaction occurs in connection with telephone calls, where most people have had the experience of thinking of someone shortly before they ring. Controlled randomized events on telephone telepathy have given significant positive results. Research techniques have now been automated, and experiments on telepathy are being conducted through an internet and cell phones, enabling widespread participation. Dr. Rupert Sheldrake, one of the world's most innovative biologists and writers, is best known for his theory on morphic fields and morphic resonance, which leads to a vision of living, developing universe with its own inherent memory. In this talk, Dr. Sheldrake shares his feelings with more than 25 years of research into telepathy and the power of staring, remote viewing, precognition, and animal premonitions, drawing on more than 5,000 case histories, 4,000 questionnaire responses, and the results of experiments on starting through transference, phone telepathy, and other phenomena carried out with over 20,000 people, as well as reports of data from dozens of independent researchers. Sheldrake shows that these unexplained human abilities, such as the sense of being stared at, are not paranormal but normal part of our biological nature. He reveals that telepathy depends on the social bonds and traces its evolution from the connections between members of animal groups such as flocks, schools, and packs. Sheldrake shows that our minds and our intentions extend beyond our brains into our surroundings with invisible connections that link us to each other, to the world around us, and even to the future. So it just kind of, again, ties into the whole idea that energy certainly affects things. And if we have negative energy, that negative energy is definitely going to affect what's around us, what people are feeling about us, so on and so forth. So it's very important that we not have this negative energy, that we find a way to clear it, to change it, to be in the positive, so that the way we are affecting others is through positive means. Alright, let's check out our message for today. This is from the High Council of Orion.
Channeled Ascension message from the High Council of Orion.
December 10, 2013, channeled by Holly Hawkins Marwood, transcribed by Paul Marwood.
Remember to ask for help, the Council.
Greetings, dear ones. We are the High Council of Orion. As your year is ending, the way you mark time on a calendar, many are feeling an acceleration of the energies. Many are feeling the effects of the increased amount of information coming from universal source, as a result of the comet. As you feel the year ending, as you feel the beginning of the new year, which always brings renewed thoughts of beginning again, which are appropriate at the beginning of the year, the energies are winding up for this year, and for some it feels a bit like a rocky road. Many feel they would like greater clarity, wondering why things are feeling a little more difficult or lacking in harmony. First, we would ask you to do the best you can to step back from the sense of drama, of unsettled energies, confusion, and upset to the best degree you can. Use whatever tools you have to find a sense of balance, whether it's through prayer, whether it's through using card decks for information, whether it's meditation, whether it's talking to a good group of friends to dissipate some of the energies. We ask you to step outside of whatever cauldron you feel you're in right now, to whatever degree you can, to give yourself a greater level of perspective of what might really be going on, what might need to be revealed, understood, healed, and released as the year winds down and a new one begins. Through self-evaluation you open up your field to allow new information to come in, to be able to experience those same situations with a new level of clarity, understanding, perhaps awareness of a new direction to go or an issue that needs to be healed, released, and understood. Within all of that, what we like to remind each and every one of you is to remember to ask for help. Remember to ask your guides, in whatever form they come, whether it's the High Council of Orion, whether they are angels, gurus, avatars, teachers, loved ones who are past, whoever it might be who you use as a spiritual resource in the energetic or unseen world, this is the time to remember to ask for assistance. Ask for help. While it may seem abundantly clear to you that now would be a good time for your guides, teachers, angels and others to step forward, understanding at that basic level, that this is the world you exist in that is free will, so they need to be asked to be able to step in and assist. As you ask for assistance, allow the field to open up so that there are many different possibilities for solutions. As you ask for assistance, leave your energy open so that you are not only looking for one specific outcome. As your teachers, the masters, the angels, and the guides come forward to help you, understanding that they know you at your soul level that transcends your human level, so their solution, their response to your asking for assistance might look a little different than what you expect. Trust that it will be the right thing for you on your soul's path. Now is the time to ask. Now is the time to be aware of the asking. No one ever said that you are here to do it alone. As your soul, as your consciousness ascends and moves to the next realms, you'll find that there is an ever-present awareness of oneness. Any feeling of aloneness or separation ceases to exist. One way you can live into your future reality is to ask for the assistance that you would like, understanding that it's always there and always for your highest good. Be blessed. We are the High Council of Orion.
Alright, very nice message. That leaves us with angel message for today. The message is, love heals. Remember this when you feel challenged by what is happening around you. Bring love into any situation and ask for our help. Alright, let's go over to our meditation for today. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. One more deep breath. And exhale. And imagine yourself walking along the path of life, and you see many others walking along the path of life. And as you look at the faces of others, you see some that are content, happy, because they have found their groove, they found the truth in life. You see that there is a look of peace because they understand what is going on in the world and realize that there is a spiritual war taking place, and that by going to the spirit they are able to affect. By standing in love and light, they are able to keep themselves in a state of mind that is positive and healthy. And as you continue to look around, you see the look of confusion on some people's faces, uncertain about what is going on these days, uncertain of how to maneuver through all the lies and misinformation that is in the world. And as you look at them, you feel compassion for them. You feel compassion because they seem to be caught in a web of their own doing. And see, as you look at them, you send them love. And as you send them love, you find that their confusion begins to dissipate. And they begin to feel a bit more sure of who they are. And as they become more sure of who they are and more aware of the truths in life, they begin to turn away from the things that have been causing confusion. The mainstream media, the governmental lies, the mistruths from government agencies, the abuse of power by New World Order advocates around the world. On and on and on. The lies, the corruptions are all understood. And as they are understood, and it is understood that the spiritual battle taking place has precedent over what is happening in the physical realm, it helps them to find a place to go to deal with the problems. And so with everybody on the same page now, understanding that the problem is not a physical one but a spiritual one, we go to the spiritual realms. We go into that higher place knowing that we will affect the physical. And in that realm we send light and love. We imagine ourselves clearing all negativity off the planet, knowing that as we do so, that energy will simply be recycled back into the world, recycled through love and returned to do it again. So feel not bad about sending energy out that dissipates the negativity. Feel not bad that the negativity is gone. Be joyful and know that the negativity has outlived its purpose and now shall come back at another time. And you simply were part of releasing that energy so it can continue on its journey. And think about the world, a world of truth, a world without all the negativity, a world without all of the lies and dishonesty and corruption. Imagine all of that gone, and imagine a world of faith, of love, trust. A world where we help each other, where we share with each other, where we communicate with each other in peaceful, loving ways. A world where we find those who are of high integrity and allow them into positions to be able to assist. And as we think all these positive thoughts, positive things continue to happen. So let's go into the world today and just send out positive thoughts. Let's send out love in all situations so that we can be part of the change. And as our subconscious mind continues on that journey, let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take a deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. That's it, my friends. Thank you very much for being here. We've got through another show. Go into the world today. Just send positive energy out. That's all we need to do. We keep doing that each and every day, sending love, sending positivity. It will change things. Because the world's filled with good people. But good people are just being confused and being used by those who are trying to do bad things. So let's just counteract what they're doing by sending out the positive. That's it. Send out the love and the positivity. Watch what that does. Amazing things will happen. That's it. I'll be back tomorrow with more news and information. Have an awesome day. I will talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.